debit orders. It means the money went out. So we need to make sure that we know the difference. What does this mean? Credit mean on the bank statement, and what does the debit mean in our books? A good question here. Why are we having credit on the bank statement? Because for me,
They owe us.
they owe us. In ABSA's books, we are their liability. So if you're working for ABSA, you will have to show what? You owe this business that money. So first we need to understand this. Because when you reconcile, we need the amount from both situations. Are we together? Okay? Now, remember we just talked about differences now. If you can check here, we dealt with the subsidiary journals before. Remember those journals? There are only two journals which can only be transferred to the bank account. Remember those journals? Yes. When they ask you to open the bank account, we only focus on those journals. Nothing else can come in. Perfect. Cash, book. We are recapping. We are recapping. Don't worry that. We are recapping. Abbreviation, which is well known. CBR. Yes, we can call it CRJ to say cash receipt check. Okay. And the other one is cash book. Don't worry, I know things happen. And then we can call it what? CBP. Remember we did this before? And then we had to total this and transfer them to what? Bank account. So we're still going to do the same thing because we need to adjust the bank. So under which side do we normally record this? The CBR. Which side will so this one will always go to the debit. Yes, sir. The CBR will always come in. And obviously, the CBP must come in. So nothing has changed. Can you see the importance of learning one age? Now you're not surprised. So this is what's going to happen. So don't worry, we're going to go through the exercises step by step. But for now, you need to understand the basic theory around this one. Any questions on that? Now, remember we said this thing is all about what? Maybe some of you were lucky enough a day before you had differences and you could I think it's going to be very practical too. So meaning we are reconciling the difference.
When you reconcile, it would be on the last day of the month.
Yes. At the end of the month. This bank statement will be at the end of that particular month. Yes. Now, you did talk about something. You said the difference, you did mention something called timing difference. Okay? So, we have got different types of what? Differences. We have got what we call the timing differences. And we've got what we call what? The adjusting differences. I'm going to explain this. Okay? So, we are going to deal with different types of differences, namely timing and adjusting. Now, we said we are reconciling. Sometimes you will find that, remember I give you an example of this 1,000. You'll find that you received 1,000 but not yet reflected yet. Can you see now? So we call those items outstanding items. I'll repeat. If the items are appearing in our books but not yet reflected on the bank statement, we call them outstanding. And they are what? Timing differences. Okay? We call them outstanding items. You will see by the time when we reconcile. So something will be appearing in our books but not yet on the bank statement. We call them what? Timing differences. And they are outstanding items. And these items can only be recorded in the what? Let me use this abbreviation. Bank reconciliation statement. So meaning all the timing differences will go to what? The bank record. Okay, you don't even know how does it look like bank record. It's okay, I'm just explaining the theory. So that by the time on my record, you are not surprised.
You said BR is bank recon what? Statement.
Bank reconciliation statement. I'm just using an abbreviation for that, okay? Yes. Let me ask you a question on the spot. What are the timing differences? Where do they appear?
Oh.
They appear between the two? Where do they appear?
I can see the side.
Timing differences appear somewhere, but not yet on some.
They can only appear in the business.
They appear in the business, but not yet on the.
You can't have it in your bank, but not.
Yes. Now we are talking about
The
adjusting. They are appearing on the bank statement, not yet in our books. So meaning all the adjusting differences. Can you see that? Will either go to CBR or CBP. So for now, I want you to understand the theory. I'll put it nicely for you with an example. But for now, just know that adjusting means you adjust your books. Meaning they are appearing. You know, sometimes clients don't pay at the counter. They do the EFT. They don't even tell you. Now you've got the bank statement. You see that Sylvester has paid me. What is that? Adjusting. Because you must come and adjust your books. But here, they paid at the counter. Now we go and deposit. When we say the bank statement, that amount that we received is not yet reflected. What is that? It must go to the bank. But you will understand at the time. Very simple. You know, I was lecturing some of my students. I'm telling you, they balance every exercise now because they got basics. I'm telling you, I gave them a test, they balanced it. And I'm afraid that now because they are focusing too much on the bank recon, they're ignoring other sections because they're not that easy as compared to bank recon. But bank recon, I'm telling you, they just like because they master the basics. Remember, it's just the theory for them. I think enough of what? Differences for now. We understand. Okay? Now. For now, I'm just going to erase so that I can talk about things that you must record on the bank recon and things that you can record under what? The box here. So, can I erase here? Okay, let me just erase. Need to take a picture? Don't have to. Or you want to take it? Yeah, just take a picture. You must remember this day, the time when you graduate. Yeah, this way. Yes. But at least you can see where I'm going now. Okay, no problem. Let me just create space. Still, I should have left here. Our business still. This is going to be the bank statement side now. And just the app side. Now, for now, I just want us to talk about what I just mentioned. We call them what? Adjusting. Remember, adjusting differences appear on the bank statement, but not yet in our books. Just to go through them. So, for example, as I said, the customers who pay us without, let's say, via EFT. So, if you see a transfer on the bank statement, we normally call them what? A direct deposit. So, because we are receiving this, under which book are we going to record? Remember, there are two books under this: CBP and CBR. So, where do you think we can record this? Yes. Okay. I know I did mention them in your slides, but I just wanted to make sure that you understand it from the book. Okay. Sometimes we do pay. We use what we call debit orders. So when you see a debit order, it means we are paying. Okay. So where are we going to record it? Okay. Now, sometimes when you look at the bank, you see these things. Which book? So I want you to make it practical, the way you understand. Okay. So this means what will you have received? Okay. But I think more will be learned by the time when we go through the exercise because it depends on the information. You must understand whether you received or you.
Okay. And if you get interest in CBR.
Which interest? It depends.
If you receive interest, you'll
Interest on
Overdraft. Let's say overdraft. Where am I going to put it?
fine.
But sometimes you can receive interest on a favorable bank balance. Can you see now? Let me just say all the interest received. We'll go to CPI. So again here, understand when you read something. Okay? Now let's talk about this situation. You know sometimes customers prefer to pay using checks. So nowadays it's very rare. But yeah, checks can be used to pay. But when a customer gives you that check, you are not guaranteed that you're going to find the money in the bank of that customer. Sometimes the bank returns that check. What do you call it? The return check. CBR?
No, CBP, because you can't name your CBR.
That return check, guys, we call it what? Dishonored check. You can call it unpaid check. Sometimes they give you this RD, meaning refer to drawer. It means the check has been returned by the bank. Maybe the client doesn't have enough money in the bank. They can't give you 500 and say, can't pay them, take you 100. They'll just return the check. Okay? So, because when the customer told you, you put it in the CBR because you thought you were receiving cash. Now you must reverse it. Under which book? CBP. Don't be surprised with the why to CBP. It's just reversing what we thought we received.
Isn't it going into that other book? Remember when we did the CBR and the CBP, there was a different book where we adjusted it. I can't remember the name of the book now. It's a fat column and then two thin columns, and you put the debit and the credit, and then you would.
I like that, the thin one, the thin column. We call that debtor's ledger.
Yeah.
Yes. So remember when we had document number for you, David paid balance. It's because a debtor is someone who paid us the check. We need to go and show that you still owe us. But the specific book that we're going to use is going to be what?
CBP.
CBP.
So you're going to show it in both, and not just in that.
That's true.
Okay.
Remember, here it's just showing that it must go to the general, and thereafter we go to the general ledger. From the general ledger, we go to the debtor's ledger. But you won't find debtor's ledger in this case.
Okay, that's it, got it.
Are you okay? Yes. But yeah, do you understand why they have CBP? I'm just trying to talk about the possibilities. Okay? Now, remember we talked about the items which are normally appearing in our books, but not yet on the bank statement. Why do we call them? The differences.
Outstanding.
The differences.
Timing difference.
Timing differences. And what did I say we are going to record timing differences? Under which book? Just to check again.
Bank
Bank reconciliation statement. Okay? So meaning those items, as I said, they are still outstanding. When you see the word outstanding, because sometimes in the exam they can use that term, just know that it is appearing in our books. When I say my books, I'm referring to these two books, but not yet on the bank statement. So here we talk about the outstanding checks. Remember, sometimes we pay checks and then those checks can be outstanding for some months. And again, we've got what we call outstanding deposits. And obviously, which one is positive according to you?
Outstanding deposits.
Yes, this one will be a positive, and this one will be a negative. You will see by the time on the record. Okay? So remember, especially these ones, if you give someone a check, they say normally it takes how many months? You can have it in your hands for how many months? 6 months. After 6 months, it means you cannot use that check anymore. That check will be cancelled, and a new one will be issued. So when you cancel that check, remember you issued it, you paid. When you cancel it, it's like you are getting money back, and you can issue a new one. Can you see now? Where do you think I'm gonna record that check, which is 6 months old?
Finance, so I'm giving it back.
Cash book receipt, because you're getting it back. Remember, initially when you issued, it was recorded in the CBP because it was a payment by you.
Oh, I got it.
So now, someone had it for how many months? You must cancel that check before you can issue another one, because a bank cannot accept a check that is 6 months old. Those checks are called stale checks. So stale checks are always recorded in the CBP. Can you see sometimes in the exam, they will tell you that it's a stale check. But in most cases, guys, they don't tell you. Every time you see a check given to you with a date next to it, be suspicious. They want you to count, because you count from the date of that check till the month that you are dealing with. If you find yourself doing this, just know that the check is stale. Every time you see it, a date next to the check. But you use an exercise. If there's a stale check, no problem, you know where to go.
It is always 6 months.
Yes, 6 months. So if you count and you only find 4 months, don't worry, it means that check is still outstanding. You have to make it was outstanding all those months. Even this month, it must be under your outstanding checks. I'll show you how to do it. Because every year you must check yourself. You also check the checks which have been outstanding. Are they still outstanding or not? Can you see now? If they're still outstanding, I'm telling you, you are going to have it how many times? 5 times. This month, next month. Can you see? I'm just giving an example. But on the 6th month, we cancel it. It becomes what?
But you still owe them the money.
You still owe them the money. Remember, we're just trying to control them because that check is not useful anymore.
Yeah.
That's why a new one can be issued. And remember, again, the bank can return it for some reasons. Can you see now? So, but the fact is, remember, checks are for check numbers. A check in that, let's say check number 151, it's not useful anymore. So if you need a new check, it means I must issue another check to replace that other check. But I must first cancel that old one. It's like I got the money back. Now I issue. It means when I issue, I'm going to record under what? CBP, because it's like I'm paying. It's just a process. We need to see that process.
So when we bring it to a stale check, do we immediately at that same point issue a new outstanding?
No, they must tell you. When they say stale, just receive it, full stop. If they say a new one must be issued, they must tell you check number and you issue that one. Honestly speaking, I've never seen it in this level. But yeah, it's a good thing to think about. Yes, it can happen like that. Are we okay? Now, you know that we are human beings, we make errors. If one day when you are waking up and you check your bank statement, you see 1 million on your bank statement, then it's not your money. Meaning a bank can make an error on the bank statement. And again, in your books, your accountants can make errors. Those errors must be corrected. The challenge is, when you see an error, firstly you must ask yourself, who made the error between us and the bank? Obviously, if the error is on the bank statement, who made the error? Bank. Can you see now? If the error is on the bank statement, we don't produce bank statement. Absa made an error. An error that has been made by the bank must only be rectified under the bank reconciliation statement. Do you hear it? Errors by the bank. they can only be recorded in the bank reconciliation statement. They will challenge you. Even if you are silently checking, they will give you an error. Read and understand who made the error. The rectification process, don't worry, I'm still going to show them. But I want you to know, if the bank made an error, we need to correct it under what? BRS. How can the bank make an error? Sometimes they can take money by mistake. You know, sometimes they say, you paid 500. They took your 500. That is an error. How do we rectify it in the BRS? We're going to add it back because we want the money back. But sometimes they give us money by mistake. How can I rectify it? I'm going to minus it. But don't worry, we'll still have to come back to it.
Do you do that only after they fixed it? What do you show?
No. Remember, for now, we're just showing that the error must be corrected. So next month, we're going to check if that error has been corrected or not. If it's not corrected, still that error will be corrected. It's only for our reconciliation process. But sometimes our accountants make mistakes. Maybe are those accountants which you recommended, you see that? So, if the error has been made in our books, the error will either be rectified under what? CBR or depending on the nature of the error. And I'm going to explain a lot about those errors now, because they can be confusing. Let me give you a practical example. Let me use this space. Let's say, for example, the error is found under what? CBR. Can you see that? Meaning the CBR is showing an amount of 1,500, which is incorrect. And the correct amount was 2,000. So it means we need to correct this error. Okay? Now, can you see in the CBR we put how much? 1.5. Instead of what? Meaning the error that we're going to rectify, we're going to change the difference only, because already we've got how much? What is the difference? So the 500 will be recorded in the, I'm trying to say, if the book has been understated, the error must be rectified in the same book where you understated. So just check that. But if the error is, like the amount is overstated, the error must be rectified in the opposite book. For example, okay, here I said the correct amount is what? Is this one. So because it's understated, so the difference must still go to what? To make this good.
So what did you call it then?
Correction of error. Or you can write, if you know the name of the source, you can write the source and leave the check number if it's there on it. It doesn't matter.
So you wouldn't cancel the 1.5 and put the 2,000.
No, you don't have to do it.
You would just have 500 adjusted error or whatever.
The old syllabus used to do that.
Okay.
If you remember the old book, this look like they are soft, so they just go in and put a line. Nowadays we don't do that. We just put the difference. Can you see that? Unless it's an omission where you have to record, because sometimes we completely forget. Okay, we can go and record the whole amount. Let me use CBR again. Let's say CBR in this case amount is 700, but the correct amount is 500. Can you see the CBR has been overstated? Meaning I must record the difference of how much? 200. In the opposite book. What is the opposite book for this one? In the CBP, I'm going to record that amount. Do you see the difference here? So you need to be careful. CBP, sorry. CBP. So if the amount has been overstated, you correct the error in the opposite book. The same applies to the CBP if the CBP is overstated. The same technique. So we need to be careful there. But don't worry, we're going to use an exercise. I know you by now. When you see an exercise, you see it once. And I give you a lot of advice. I think you said a mouthful when it comes to it. the theory. I think we can just use an exercise and check. Unless if you've got questions, guys.